And with that, everybody, welcome to the first ever video from our new studio here in our new building. Of course, as you can see, a little bit of wiring has been done in here, so it's quite nice in here. So, want to thank y'all for watching tonight's video, and we've got a lot to come. So, I'm gonna go ahead and share that on the screen. So, here's our schedule for tonight. We're going to break down the first and second rounds of the March Madness. Then I will take your questions at 7:16. And then, right after that, we'll preview the Sweet 16 and Elite 8. Then, we will get into, well, how did my bracket do? Well, I tell you folks that, it's okay right now. I mean, I'm not disappointed, but there's always some upsets you can't ever really predict. So, we'll get into that a little bit tonight. So, all I can say, though, is that here on the channel, we've come a long way. And today, I'm just really happy for where the channel's come, because if you remember, it was all just little pop-up little things we would do around the house where we could actually do videos, and now, it's expanded where we now have our own little space in a little building. So it's really nice, and I just have to thank my parents for everything that they provided me with, because, without them, I wouldn't be here. So, it's a great setup, and I'm very pleased with everything that the channel's gone through the last few years. As you know, I've had the channel since 2018, so this has been a 4-year thing. So, of course, I'm very thankful for where I've come. So, let's dive into this. So, first round, and it was something, folks. I mean, you want to talk about, some really crazy upsets. How about we talk about a Kentucky team who a lot of people may have predicted to win the national championship? Now, I will say this. I had them winning the national... I didn't have them winning the national championship, but I had them going to the Final Four, folks. I had them playing Duke in the Final Four. Now, a little later I'm going to tell you whether my bracket is busted or not, but I'll tell you, it did kind of hurt my bracket a little bit. So, St. Peter's, though, what a story, because they come from Jersey City, New Jersey, and they play in one of the smallest gymnasiums I've ever seen. I mean, I'll be honest, I have seen high school teams, I've seen high schools with a bigger gym than what they have. So that's saying something right there, folks. That St. Peter's, they have one of the smallest gymnasiums in basketball, period. What a miracle, what a story, though, for them. And it was, you think about it, that was crazy. Now, another upset that really comes to mind, I saw this weekend, that really was a highlight, New Mexico State. Now, they have a guy, and I believe his name is Teddy Allen, who completely went off against UConn. And it was incredible to see what happened with that game. And Teddy Allen just basically put that game out of reach. And so, I'm telling you, New Mexico State, that was an incredible win. They ended up getting beat to Arkansas in the second round, but we'll get into that a little later. But I'm telling you, folks, these upsets are crazy. San Francisco and Murray State came down to overtime. Richmond, a 12 seed. Both New Mexico State and Richmond were 12 seeds and both won their games. And St. Peter's, I should have mentioned this, was a 15 seed beat 2. And so, you just talk about upsets. This was a great way to start out the tournament. And if I'm correct, I believe North Carolina was the only 8 seed to have won their game. So 3 9 seeds beat an 8. Now, of course, that's not exactly considered like an upset with the 9-8. You'll see, personally, I would say like the 10 beating the 7. That would be your like most competitive upset, in my opinion, as far as like the competitive advantage that you would see from like the 7 seed to like the 10. 8 and 9 to me, as far as style of play, is about the same. I don't really see any difference between an 8 and a 9 seed. But when you compare like 7 and 10s, now there's a little bit of a gap right there, because 7 seeds are just a little bit better than 10 seeds. So, it was a great week of basketball. So, we get into the second round, and I'm telling you, could you not start the second round out any better than what you had with North Carolina and Baylor? Now, folks, this North Carolina-Baylor game, this was a crazy game. Now, North Carolina is up 25 points, and there's about 10 minutes left to go in the game. And one of their star players, Brady Manek, who is a transfer from Oklahoma, he gets ejected. Now, do I believe that he meant to trip up Jeremy Sohan? I don't know. I mean, you can go back and watch the play for yourself, but to me, I feel like they got twisted up and he just ended up tripping him. But, either way, North Carolina ends up blowing the lead, and you go to overtime. You have Baylor, the defending national champions, having to come back from a 25-point deficit to even take it to overtime. Now, that's what's called crazy. So then you get to overtime, and you could just see Baylor used all of their energy that they had left in that game to come back and tie the game against North Carolina. And North Carolina just had a little bit more energy there at the end, winning the game 93-86. And folks, that was a crazy game right there. So, another one that was a really good game, Kansas and Creighton. That one came down to the last shot, I believe. It came down to the last shot. Kansas ended up winning the game. So, what you're seeing from here, though, is that the March Madness is the best tournament in all basketball. How could you not look at this and say, this is worse than the NBA playoffs? Now, the NBA playoffs are professionals playing. But when you consider the amount of upsets you get from the March Madness, you never know what's going to happen. Anything can happen in March if it's college basketball. Now, coming into this tournament, there were a lot of questions as if should Texas A&M should they have had a chance at the tournament? If you would have asked me, I would have probably said yes. I mean, you consider a team that nobody would have thought made it to the SEC championship game, and they made it that far. From what I believe, they beat Auburn. They beat Arkansas to get there. And I believe they were like an 8 seed in the SEC. And they made it to the SEC championship game against a very talented Tennessee team. Who Tennessee in the second round of the March Madness got beat to Michigan, an 11 seed. So there's no doubt that this has been a really great tournament so far. And now, folks, for the time that you have really been waiting for, question and answers time. You can submit all your questions that you have for me into the chat right now. So go ahead and do that. I cannot wait for your questions. So, I'm going to take a sip of water while I wait for the first question. Good water. Folks, it's always important if you do something like this, like live streaming, if you have a nice glass of water or bottle of water on hand, yeah, that's really good for your throat. Plus, if you're really thirsty. So, Rad Rusty is asking me, how do you like the new setup versus how you used to live stream? I like this better because it feels a little bit more open area more, because the last few months, I would say, I've been doing my live streams in our bedroom, so it's a little bit more compact, in my bedroom, so it's a little bit more compact. So being out here in a building, it feels more open. So yeah, I like it. I like it a little bit better because it's I like it better. So let's see. Do we have any more questions so far? And so I will wait a minute. Of course, if you remember my schedule, I put for 7:24 will be when I quit answering your questions. So, like I said, if you got any more questions, just put it in the chat. I am happy to take your questions at the moment. Alright, so Rad Rusty has another comment. I didn't watch too much of the March games, but from what I did, they were awesome. I agree. I mean, I really would have to agree with you because I'm telling you, this has been an awesome tournament so far. So, it has not failed us yet. Okay, so let's see. We got anything else? So, earlier, Colton Naylor said fire. Thank you. Thank you, Colton. Rad Rusty a little earlier said, hello, Saber Broadcast Network. Hope you are having a great day today. Well, thank you. He also said, hey, I see the setup. So, thanks. Alright. Rad Rusty also says, I think my favorite one was the St. Peter's one, but I don't remember which one. Yeah, St. Peter's actually, they won their second round game against Murray State. So you're talking about, for the second straight year, you've got a 15 seed going to the Sweet 16. So that's something to keep in mind. So, yeah, it's incredible to see. And it's becoming more and more, obvious that anybody can get beat, but the last few years, 15 seeds beating ones, not ones, but twos. I'm going to see, I think this would be a nice tidbit. I'm going to look up how many 15 seeds have beaten 2 seeds. Okay, so going into the tournament a couple days ago, 15 seeds had a 9. That's right, folks. A 9-135 all-time record against 2 seeds, which is a 6.25 win percentage. So meaning that it does not happen all the time that you see a 15 seed beat a 2. And we had another one happen this week with St. Peter's taking down Kentucky, which was a great game. So, March Madness, anything can happen. Alright, any more questions? Because if not, I may go ahead and just roll on through here. Because I've got... And I am going to show you the current bracket for right now. And what you're going to see is I've started the current bracket from the Sweet 16. So that's where we're going to be going right now. So thank you for your questions and your comments. Of course, they are very appreciated. So previewing Sweet 16 and Elite 8 is what we're going to be doing right now. So there we go. I got it right there for you. I'm going to put that in full screen so that you may be able to see it a little bit better. So what you've got here is so Gonzaga and Arkansas are going to be playing, and I'm going to get those times pulled up for you right now so that everybody can know when to find these games, because these are going to be incredible matchups to watch. Sweet 16 never fails us. So, okay. So, Gonzaga and Arkansas is going to be the early game on Thursday, I believe. Yes, it's going to be early Thursday. So, it's going to be the game that if you turn on the TV around 6 o'clock, Central Time, you would find it. So, Arkansas and Gonzaga play at 6:09 Thursday. Then, the next game to tip off is going to be Michigan and Villanova at 6:30 or 6:29 Central Time. And then after that, another 2 hours and 10 minutes after that, Texas Tech and Duke at 8:39, and then at 8:59 Central Time, Houston and Arizona. And then Friday at 6:09, St. Peter's against Purdue. At 6:29, Providence against Kansas. At 8:39, North Carolina and UCLA. And at 8:59, Iowa State and Miami. And of course, Saturday, times have not been set, but from what we can gather, they're probably going to be like 6:09 and 8:39 tip-offs from that, or either 6:29 and 8:59 tip-offs, just depending with it being Saturday night. And then on Sunday, most likely what you're going to see from Sunday is that these games are going to probably go into like the early window. So you would probably see like a 1:09 and 3:39 setup for those games to be played. So, of course, the games that we see, though, that are going to be on Thursday, you're going to have the West region and you're going to have the South region. So the South and the West will be playing Thursday night, and then Friday night will be the East and the Midwest. Then Saturday night is, which team is going to come out of the West region and which team is coming out of the South region. Then, on Sunday afternoon, it'll probably be, it is going to be who's coming out of the East and who is coming out of the Midwest right there. So then, what that would lead to is you are set up for Saturday, April 2nd, for the Final Four. And then Monday, April 4th, in 2 weeks from now, which our pregame, it'll be a pregame coverage for us when that comes. And so that is the current bracket. Now, if you want to look at the West region, there is the West region right there for you to show you where we have come. Of course, Gonzaga took down Georgia State, and Memphis took down Boise State to get to that game. And Gonzaga, of course, beat Memphis to get to play Arkansas. So Arkansas's journey here, they had a close scare against Vermont, then they beat New Mexico State, and of course New Mexico State beat UConn. Then if you look at the other side, which is on the right side of your screen, Alabama got beat to Notre Dame, and then Texas Tech beat Montana State. Michigan State beat Davidson, and Duke beat Cal State Fullerton. And of course, Duke beat Michigan State, and Texas Tech beat Notre Dame. And folks, this is the only region right here that the top 4 seeds have advanced to the Sweet 16. That just shows how crazy this bracket has been of teams. So we move on to the East region, and of course, as you can see, Baylor beat Norfolk State in the first round, and North Carolina beat Marquette. St. Mary's beat Indiana, and UCLA beat Akron. Then Texas beat Virginia Tech, Purdue beat Yale, Murray State beat San Francisco, and St. Peter's beat Kentucky. Then, what we see from here is St. Peter's beat Murray State to get to the Sweet 16, and they will be playing Purdue. And North Carolina beat Baylor, and they will face UCLA. So, folks, this is, you look at the East region, the 3 seed is the top seed coming out of this region. Now, that is impressive, if I could say so myself. So, alright, South region, Arizona beat Wright State, and they will play TCU. They played TCU rather, and so TCU beat Seton Hall. Houston beat UAB, and Illinois beat Chattanooga, and then Michigan beat Colorado State, and Tennessee beat Longwood. Ohio State beat Loyola Chicago, and Villanova beat Delaware. Villanova beat Ohio State the other day, and Michigan beat Tennessee. Arizona beat TCU, and Houston beat Illinois. So there is your South region. You got Arizona against Houston, and you got Michigan against Villanova. This is going to be fun to watch, folks. Really and truthfully, a lot of fun. So, that's your South region. And then you get to the Midwest region. You got Kansas, who beat Texas Southern, and then you had San Diego State get beat to Creighton. And then Iowa against Richmond. Richmond won that game. Providence against South Dakota State. Providence ended up winning that one. And then you had LSU and Iowa State. Iowa State would win that. Wisconsin against Colgate. Wisconsin would win the game. Then you had USC and Miami, Florida. Miami, Florida came out of that game. And then Auburn and Jacksonville State. And Auburn won that. So, out of those games in the round of 32, Kansas beat Creighton. Richmond got beat to Providence. Iowa State beat Wisconsin, and Auburn dropped an egg against Miami. So you got Kansas against Providence, and then Iowa State and Miami. So there are your matchups for this round. And folks, looks entertaining. To say the least, it's going to be entertaining to see who will come out of these regions. And, when you consider the fact that the East region, the number one, the highest seeded team right now is a 3 seed in Purdue. So, who knows who's going to make the Final Four out of that East region? Honestly, in my opinion, I feel like that is the most up-in-the-air region right now, is the East. Because we don't know who's going to come out of it, and we don't know who is going to be that best team. Now, if I had to choose, though, to come out of the East region, honestly, I may pick North Carolina. Because with how they have played against, like Duke, and then the way that they played against Baylor the other day, I'm telling you, UCLA, I don't think will beat North Carolina. And then either Purdue or St. Peter's, I don't think would beat North Carolina. So I think North Carolina would be back in the Final Four once again, and in Hubert Davis's first year as head coach. So, of course, if I go to the Midwest region, honestly, I think Kansas is coming out of it. I think Kansas will win the Midwest region. So, that is all in to say that, you know what, I'm going to reveal something. And it's about my bracket, which I'm fixing to get into, which I'll do now. Folks, I'm going to share that on the screen. So, what you can see here is the bracket that I put together. This is who I chose to win. So, as you can see, I have lost 2 Final Four teams so far. Kentucky and Auburn. The SEC, folks, has let me down. But I still have my champion in Duke, and I still have my runner-up in Arizona. So, what you're seeing is, my bracket may be fine. If you look at the West region, if the games that are going to happen in the Sweet 16, if Duke and Gonzaga win those games, West region, I would win unless Gonzaga beats Duke. So I've got to have Duke get to the Final Four. In the West region, it would be fine for me. If you look at the team I've got coming out of the South region, if Arizona ends up playing Villanova and Arizona wins that game, the South region for me is probably fine. Now, the two that are probably going to hurt me the most is the East and the Midwest. Because as you can see, I had Kentucky and Auburn. Kentucky went out in the first game, the round of 64. Auburn went out in the round of 32. So, what you're going to see here is those regions, I'm pretty much done. So, what do I need to happen? I don't know. I mean, folks, I don't know. This is going to be something to watch. And I really don't know how I'm going to do. So, well, there's always a next year, but of course, who knows? I mean, some of these upsets, you just can't predict them. It just happens. So, of course, a lot of things have happened in this tournament so far. And, who knows where it's going to go? We don't know. So, of course, next week we are going to break down the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8. That is the plan from here. And if you are just joining us, folks, I do want to say that this is a new studio setup for us. So, for any of y'all that have just joined, put a comment. Tell us what y'all think about the new studio, because it is certainly new for us. So after this, the next 2 weeks are going to be March Madness breakdown, and then from what I believe, I'm going to have another. Cooper Naylor Reports is going to be right after that. Then, I believe it's April 15th, Friday, April 15th. I believe I'm going to be doing I'm going to do a spring practice college football wraparound. So I'm going to, preview what, like I'm gonna recap the national championship game in that, and I'm probably gonna tell more about like what is my opinion, like who could be in the college football playoff. That's what's coming from that. So okay, so Night Studios, which says the studio looks pretty good. Well, thank you. Thanks a lot. You know, it's it's a really great studio. So yeah. So after that, a lot of y'all have really liked the Bible study that I've been doing. So for that, I am very grateful. And that will be coming back Friday, April 22nd, I want to say. So, still got about a month until that, comes around again. And then, got a lot of videos coming, but, Thursday, April 28th and Friday, April 29th, I've got NFL draft coverage. I have an idea. Like, I've got a lot of different ideas for how we could do this. Of course, what I hope is that I will have someone in this chair right here next to me. Of course, that was something I really wanted, was an extra chair so that I could have any kind of guest on here. So hopefully I will have a football analyst in here to talk more football. Maybe Jack, but we don't know any specifics right now for the NFL draft, except we're going to be doing NFL draft coverage here in studio and bringing it to you, the viewers, because y'all deserve the best programming that we can give you. So of course, got a lot of things coming. And then Kubernetes Reports, Monday, April 11th, we got a special announcement to come that is still kind of in the works, that we want to kind of let y'all know, like, hey, we got a special announcement, so come back April 11th. But also come back for March Madness Breakdown, because like it says down at the bottom, only 3 times a year will you ever get March Madness Breakdown. So, it's been a great one tonight. Hope y'all have enjoyed, and we will see you next week for some more March Madness Breakdown.